I personally felt that part 5, Dial of Destiny, for me, is the weakest of the bunch, and for a few reasons, but I feel like James Mangold, he was not the guy. He was not the guy to take
Yeah.
up the helm. Um, there were some things about the story and the script that just didn't feel right, and then just the execution of the film, like, it felt like more of a downer
Hmm.
than Indiana Jones should be, you know, because again, he's the hero, and I understand, you know, he's getting on in age, and everybody has an ending, and this and that, and da 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 da, but I feel like there were probably better ways to do it and execute it, and there were just things in that film that felt disposable, like Antonio Banderas, like,
Yeah.
you know, it's just like, "Oh, we're doing this to do this," you know, like, when we coulda done more, you know, like, it just felt a little thrown together, and, I didn't exactly care for it. So for me, that's I haven't revisited that one since the movie theater, and I don't know if I'm going to because I think Crystal Skull really isn't a bad movie, you know, with the exception of the swinging monkeys.
It's the swinging monkey. Well, the swinging mutt is really the problem.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and it's just possibly,
Swinging with the monkeys.
and then possibly a couple minutes, like in the beginning, like maybe the refrigerator sequence.
See, a lot of people shit on that, but you know, like I we're with Temple of Doom, we're ripping people's hearts out, like,
Yeah, like
that's acceptable, but a lead-lined fridge and a '50s throwback kind of a scene and sequence, like, The Black Sleep of Kali,
like
I'm
I don't
not
hate it.
fazed by the fridge.
I don't hate it. I just think maybe the whole sequence wasn't necessary. You know what I mean?
Well,
After the whole thing we saw in the beginning, him swinging through with the magnets and all that stuff, I thought that was cool. But that's really it. Yeah, I think it was a logical progression for that film. You know, it's the
yeah,
'50s. Aliens was the thing. And he covers all that type of stuff. So why wouldn't he?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I think, you know, Crystal Skull is a totally adequate place to just
Dial. I
end that
agree.
story and character.
Dial, I agree, is the weakest of the film. One of my beefs with it was I think there's too many characters and too
Mhm.
much of Phoebe Waller-Bridge in that. I didn't need all of her. It was too much of her in that. It's like she's a little overbearing at times,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, I like Shia LaBeouf. You know, I think he's a talented guy. You know, he's got a his own separate world
Well,
he lives in.
who doesn't have problems?
I,
Let's be fair.
right, but I would have loved if they would have got him back for this movie.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Well, that's the thing. It's like you go through all the trouble of setting up this character and in this film, and then you end it in such a way where it's like, okay, cool. And then, oh yeah, he went to war and he died, and you know, it sucked and it ruined my life and my marriage. Well, shit. Thanks, Indy. I came here to get away from my fucking problems.
But I did love the opening. I thought that was a really cool opening sequence. With, seeing Indy young again. We can't do that for real.
The one thing with that bothered me was like, okay, yeah, they kind of nailed the face replace de-aging thing, but they couldn't have like tuned up his voice. You know,
Yeah,
he sounded like old man Indy, you know, and it's like,
yeah,
I'm out of it. I'm sorry. You fucking lost me before you started.
yeah. And that was a great.
But I have been accused of having very sensitive ears. Like people like I'm always like, did you hear that? And they're like, what are you talking about? It's like, dude, it's
No,
so
it was a little jarring. It's like when you watch The Incredibles 2, and Craig T. Nelson's on in age, and you could hear it in his voice. He's not
yeah.
as spry as he was in 2000, and yeah, it happens. But yeah, I heard the same thing in the theater. I was like, oh fuck. But
Yeah.
but the whole process of how they went through all the old footage of Indiana Jones to put that together, so it
Yeah.
wasn't just a straight up de-aging situation. Like they patchworked it in. I thought it was really cool. So I really loved that opening sequence. Toby Jones is always fun.
Yeah.
It was great seeing Sala again. It's great seeing Marion again. And some of the chase sequences were really cool. For me, like I
Mhm.
said, too many characters, like some of those all those agents, and that was a little convoluted and didn't need all that per se.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Waste of Antonio Banderas for sure, but yeah, I didn't hate it. Like some people hate them. I don't hate it. I don't think there's anything there to hate. It's just not as good as the older ones. It is what it
No.
is.
No.
I think it was missing the Steven Spielberg touch
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, and like I said, like James Mangold, he wasn't the guy. Like
A good director, but yeah.
yeah, if they got another person in there, who knows? But James Mangold wasn't the guy. I'm sorry. Fight me.